in the movie Invisible Children. That was such a depressing movie, honestly. I don't see how a human being can actually sit there and allow something like that to happen. If the LRA is such a bad excuse for people that they can allow little children to use guns to murder other people, they shouldn't be alive. They should be executed immediately. They're taking away the lives of little children. When they grow up, all they're going to know is violence. Guns, knives, murdering people. They're probably going to have, post-traumatic stress syndrome for the rest of their lives. That's depressing. No child should have to live like that. The part that got to me the most, though, was when I saw the little boy cry over his brother, I think it was, being killed. That was sad. And another part that got to me was all the little children talking about, the escaped children talking about what it was like while they were there. The girl that was the second wife, and the pictures that they drew were sad. I mean, nothing but pictures of people being murdered and terrible violence. It's just not something that you see in a 7-year-old. That's not something you should ever see in a 7-year-old. They're probably going to have post-traumatic stress syndrome for the rest of their lives. Stuff like that happens. Honestly, though, I think the United States should take action. Yeah, technically, it's not our responsibility because we can't control everything that happens in all the, world, but I think that the United States could really step in, tell the LRA what's up, technically, I guess you could say. Don't allow them to kidnap little 7-year-old kids and teach them how to use guns for violence. It's ridiculous. I think if we stepped in and taught the LRA a lesson, maybe some of this would stop. I mean, yeah, it's gotten better over the years since 2003, but still, that's something that needs to be completely stopped. No child should be afraid to leave their own house. No child should be afraid to even live in their own house. Kids sleeping at bus stops and bus places and stuff like that. I mean, that's really depressing. And rushing into areas where they're packed together like cattle and they have no room to move around and sleeping like literally next to each other, shoulder to shoulder. And it's all because they're scared of the LRA. They don't want to be kidnapped. They're afraid that they won't wake up the next morning, And that's not something that a child should have to worry about. If the United States stepped in, though, I really do think it would completely stop. We just need to keep it continuous. We don't need to go in for like a year or so until it stops and then leave, because I'm sure, give it a couple weeks and it'll probably start up all over again. That's sad that people like that can sit there and watch this with just a hint of a grin on their faces. It disgusts me, and no child should have to go through that whatsoever. The worst part, though, is how the children are even afraid to cry. When they're kidnapped and they cry, they're murdered. So what if they miss home? You kidnapped them. That's not their fault. Somebody kidnapped me, I'd cry too. I mean, really, come on. You're going to kidnap a child and expect them not to cry and then brutally murder them in front of all their friends, maybe even some of their family, just because they cried? Really? That's really sad. All I can really say about this movie, though, was it's really opened my eyes to the world. I never really paid attention to what other people were going through, and I could probably say that for a lot of people. We don't pay attention to what's going on in the world. We pay attention to what's going on with us. If it doesn't involve us, sometimes we don't care. But seeing this movie has really opened my eyes. It's made me want to take action. And, you know, it makes me kind of grateful for the life that I have. These children have nothing. They grow up to where when they want to go get jobs, when they're gone, you know, they escape, they can't do anything. It's really sad, and it's definitely opened my eyes. I'm so much more thankful for everything that I've got.